and we can get started.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our candidate forum for the Lower Russian River MAC. We have seats both in Guerneville and Forestville up for selection this year, and we have three representatives or three candidates from each of those districts that are going to talk a little bit about themselves, why they want to join the MAC, and what they think they can bring to the MAC. We're going to start with Forestville, and then we're going to move to Guerneville. And the first candidate up will be Lonnie. So Lonnie, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about why you are interested in joining the MAC and what you think you can bring to it.
Thank you, Pip. Hi, everybody. My name is Lonnie Lazar. I am a Forestville resident since 2021. And I live with my partner, Alicia Chazen. And we moved from San Francisco to Sonoma County in 2021 and are thrilled, actually, to be living in Sonoma County and really love the people that we've met in and around Forestville. And I am a practicing attorney. I have a solo law practice. I focus on trust and estate planning work. I'm also a business consultant. And, I have run several businesses of my own before I started my law practice. I was a travel agent once upon a time. I worked in the commodities industry. I ran a nightclub in San Francisco on Haight Street for 15 years and have always been sort of entrepreneurial and small business oriented. When I was in law school, I focused a lot on environmental law and land use planning stuff. I was really always very interested in the way that communities organize themselves and provide for an efficient and sustainable sharing of resources and development. And I understand, even though I've just been in Sonoma County for a couple of years, there's a lot of issues around development in Sonoma County, and there's been a lot of people like me and Alicia who have relocated from the urban environment into the more rural environment, and I'm very sensitive to the impacts of sort of the natural migration of people, and sensitive to the way that resources are allocated and being developed in the area. And so when I found out that there were going to be a couple of spots open up on the Lower Russian River MAC, I thought that it would be a great way for me to sort of give back to the community and to participate in the gathering of information and the sharing of information so that people sort of understand what's going on. There's a lot of different interests involved, and there's a lot of different feelings and opinions about the best way to move forward and the best way to grow in the community. And I think it's really important for people to have access to good information and to get their voices heard as decisions get made. So I feel like my background is a really solid sort of background. I understand growth and development from a small business standpoint. And I think my experience as a business owner and as an attorney helps me understand the way that civic governance works. And so I understand, it's a volunteer position, and I've got time and I've got energy, and I am grateful to have, people consider me for the position.
Thanks, Lonnie. Renee, you're up.
Okay, well, that was really well said, Lonnie. Thank you. So glad to follow that. I'm a little nervous. I don't do public speaking well. And hi, I'm Renee Churkin. I'm going to read what my opinion of why I'm running. I have deep roots here in Forestville. My family has been coming up here since 1930. We were city people that came up in the summer, and I moved here in junior high, went to Annalee, Santa Rosa JC. This has been my home for the last 50 years, raised my family here. Watching the changes that are happening around us is motivating me to become involved in the future of our community. This is an important role that can help ensure responsible development along the lower river. I'm volunteering because I'm passionate about the river and its fragile ecosystem. Future progress should proceed in a sensitive manner, accommodating environmental issues, growing numbers of residents, and a huge tourism component. I feel this delicate balance can be achieved via guidance through committees like these, listening, recommending, and communicating with the public and the Board of Supervisors so they can be informed about important issues that impact our beautiful 5th district is why I'm interested. This has been a few changes recently, and I've been involved with the closure of the high school, the housing element, and now the asphalt proposal. These are experiences that are driving me to run for this position because these are major, major impacts. And I think everybody on board will help let the Board of Supes make the right decisions. And that's it. That's what I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Ty.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ty Hilton. Happy to be here today. So thanks for everyone's time. I live in Forestville in the Hidden Lake neighborhood, if you all are familiar with where that is. And I'm here today because I'm interested in the Lower Russian River MAC. I have a young family of 2 young boys who are toddlers. I've lived in Forestville full-time since 2017. However, my family's been in Forestville in some form or another since 1975. So it's always been a really important place to me. I'm interested for a couple reasons. One, I'm finishing up a master's degree and I'm going to have some more time on my hands. So I'm really trying to get involved in the community that I love so much. As I mentioned, I have a young family. So I'm really cognizant of the challenges that our community has with housing and childcare and schools. So I think I would bring a newer perspective that's to this group. In my daytime, I am an analyst for the Department of Health Services. I work with homeless service programs, developing policy and helping with funding of those programs. I think that would be a useful perspective to have on this group. I'm bilingual, having spent a few years abroad. I think that adds an element. I'm basically just trying to give back to the community that I like so much. And even if I'm not selected for this position, I just encourage whoever is to be able to reach out so that I could help with anything. So I'm just really open to get involved and appreciate the time.
Thank you, Ty. We're going to move on to Guerneville. And Spencer, you're up.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Spencer Scott. My husband and I have lived in Guerneville since 2020. We run Solar Punk Farms, which is a small educational farm and sustainability demonstration site. We love it here. We want to stay forever. And so, we're planning to be here for a long time in Guerneville. And so we're very invested in how we can create community resilience through sustainable community development. And So for a little bit of background about me, I'm an ecologist and biologist by training. I work at a climate nonprofit where I'm a climate change solutions expert across energy resilience, conservation, and regenerative agriculture. And I have a huge passion for urban planning and economic development, and I hope to bring all of these things together in a town, of Guerneville that has been and will continue to be subject to floods, fires, droughts, heat waves, blackouts. I think I can add a lot of expertise in how we can become a more resilient town and ensure our needs are met now and into the future. So really thankful to have this opportunity. Also looking to give back to the community we love so much. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks, Spencer. Divinity.
Hi, I come from a conservative background. I voted for Joe Biden. It's important not to judge. I have a lot to say. Number one, part of the mental health issues that folks experience here in Sonoma County is number one, like especially for me, I can say I have severe PTSD. I also have my service dog and I have psychogenic seizures from that. Part of that is the racism in our county. There are individuals who are very racist. There's discrimination. There is lower chances for diversity, and we have a lot of the same things going on. We need change so that folks like myself that have mental health issues are able to cope better. Part of the problem with suicide, which is a big issue for mental health issues, is the fact of environment. I'm poor and I'm white. I'm poor and I'm a Black Jew. I'm poor and I'm a Black Jew. I'm Black. I am poor and I'm brown. I am, that's number one. I'm transgender. I experience a lot of transphobia in this county, even in Guerneville, because I'm transgender, because I am a Black Jew, I experience anti-Semitism. So it's important, in my opinion, for me to get on this mental health council so that I'm able to implement with y'all the changes that we need, with folks on this council that are not racist, with folks that are LGBTQ and are not transphobic, with folks that are not transphobic. I need to be able to feel that importance of helping folks that are on the street. I was on the street for years. I've only lived in a house since 2017, and I would not live in a house if I was not on housing, if I didn't have SSI, if I did not have the things. So it's important that I'm able to be here to make those changes, and I yield the rest of my time. But I just wanted to let y'all know that it is important that folks that have mental health issues serve your board. So thank you so much. And as we say in Hebrew, shalom, and that means peace. So thank you so much. I yield.
Thank you so much. Mark.
Great. Thank you, Chairman. And good morning, everyone. It's been very interesting to hear the different backgrounds and people coming together to fill the empty seats. And just wow, what a wonderful, vibrant community. And with that, I'll jump into why I applied and what I intend to bring to the table. For me, it comes down to experience and passion. In terms of experience, I'm plug and play. There's no training wheels. I don't have to read through the rules of decorum. I already know them. I've served dozens of local government entities and their advisory committees as legal counsel. I advised on general municipal law issues, issues of constitutionality, as well as land use and environmental issues. I've helped create advisory bodies. I've helped dissolve them. I've served as a commissioner before, also as counsel to commissions. And to me, it's helpful to have that background because I understand the limits and opportunities that are available to commissions, right? As an advisory body, of course, we can't create law. We can make recommendations, things like that. And the passion component, I think, is easy. I think all of the applicants have expressed that because this is such a beautiful community. I love Guerneville, and my partner and I moved up here over a year ago. My partner got offered a job at Santa Rosa JC. We came up to scope out the area and fell in love. It wasn't going to be Santa Rosa. It wasn't going to be, a bunch of other bigger cities that are around. It was going to be Guerneville. We immediately bought our house, and we live here year round. It's such I keep saying beautiful place, but there's no other word for it really. I love that it has a kind of small town feel, and it's sort of insular in some ways, but it's also very warm and welcoming. We were new to sort of living in an unincorporated area, and we had a few run-ins with, running out of propane in the middle of December last year. And our neighbors were very generous with us in terms of, their knowledge and resources. And it's just beautiful community. And that's also why I want to get involved, is to learn more, share more. And it's this, I have a sort of this specialized skill set that I haven't been putting to use recently. And that's why I want to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank all of you. I'm just excited to see that there are so many folks that are interested in doing this, especially newer people to the community. I think no matter who is selected from each district, it will be great to have different points of view, different experiences. And so I think no matter who ends up on the MAC, we're going to be better for it. So thank you, everyone. And with that, I think it is a wrap.
Did we see if there's any questions from the,
Oh, I'm
Public
sorry. I
attendance?
didn't know we had anyone out there. All right.
there are 5 attendees
Okay.
in the public, yes.
Okay. Anyone in the public have a question for any of the candidates? Anybody?
There are no hands raised.
Okay. So Debbie's going to talk a little bit about next steps.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. As you are aware, there are 2 seats open in Forestville, 1 representative and 1 alternate. The ballots will be available on the website in the coming days. I'll post that in the comments right now, and that's on the Lower Russian River MAC website. Ballots can be downloaded there, and the person in Forestville who receives the most votes will then be put forward to be appointed as the representative, and then this person with the second most votes will be put forward to become alternate. In Guerneville, there was 1 position open, and so the person that comes in with the most votes will be put forward to the Board of Supervisors for that representative position. There will be a number of ways that people can get their ballots back to us. They'll be written on the ballot, and it's also on the flyer that has been distributed. People can take a picture or scan their ballot and send it back to our office. They can mail it. And then there will be one day at the end of the month that I will be receiving ballots in person in Guerneville at Coffee Bazaar and in Forestville at Brew. I'll be well caffeinated that day. And if there are any questions, you can please feel free to reach out to me at debbie.ramirez@sonoma-county.org, and I will put that in the messages as well.
Thanks, Debbie. There was 1 or 2 questions in the Q&A. So I'm going to read one and I'll ask you each of you to answer
Oh.
briefly. And this comes from Vesta. Hi, Vesta. And if I'm reading this right, because there's a couple weird things in there, do you understand the representation you'll bring and the limits of your role? And we'll go. I'm going to go Brady Bunch style. So, Divinity.
Yes, I am quite aware of it. I would like to see limitations and having a council position. I think that it's important that people do what's right, and that means not allowing yourself to see limitations as a way to not make things happen. I yield.
Thank you. Ty.
Hi. Yeah. So I think as with any new role, there's a degree of learning that goes into it. So I would say, yes, to an extent, I understand the representation. I think part of the responsibility of somebody on this committee is to be informed about their community, particularly the area they're representing, and engaging with the community about those issues, so that they can bring all those perspectives, not necessarily just my perspective, but all the perspectives in that area to that issue. I do understand that this is an advisory role, and so we are doing that, just advising. But as I mentioned at the beginning, I think there's certainly a degree of learning that will go on, and for any new member. Thank you.
Thanks, Ty. Spencer.
Yes, as far as my understanding, the term limits are 2 years, and
Oh, I
our
see.
role is to represent our towns to Linda Hopkins, or the District 5 supervisor. And yeah, I think, to mirror what Ty said, like, obviously open to learning more and more about what this position entails.
Mark.
Thanks. I don't want to launch into a whole lecture about the limits of commissioners, so I'll try to keep it short. The limits are that we are an advisory body. We can make recommendations. We cannot create policy. We cannot create law. That's reserved for the legislature. So I am well aware of the limits of the role, but as I mentioned earlier, there's also opportunities in that role, right? The ability to, and this is related to the representation component of it, the ability to speak with your neighbors and, listen to what's important to them, and to elevate those issues up, and to encourage them to participate and to show up to meetings. And I believe that's the rest of the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Renee.
As always, all these answers are right on the money. It's really a role that you are to be objective, to listen, but to bring your own passion with it, so that you could interpret it and try to advise as best as possible with all the new information that comes in. It is informing people around you. It's informing the Board of Supes. It's a whole new role that we don't know what we're doing. So I think it's just listening unprejudicedly, and keeping the West County a priority, so that when the changes or whatever is on the table comes, we work appropriately. Because I feel that out here we are different than the rest of the county, and there's a lot of sensitive matters, and so we have to go in with an open mind, listen, watch, and inform, and then hopefully people will take our advice. I hope that's an answer to the question.
It's your answer, so it is.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Thanks, Renee. Lonnie.
Well, I mean, there's not really much to add. Everybody who's spoken already pretty summed it up very well. I do understand that that this commission serves in an advisory role and works with the District 5 supervisor to provide real important feedback for the county Board of Supervisors, who actually does make law and set policy. And so I think the role is really about being as well informed as possible about what the issues are and what the people in the community, how the people in the community feel about those issues, and how they feel about the way that the policy, however it's set, is going to impact them and their families and their neighbors. So I don't think I have anything extra to add to what's already been said. And I think everybody that's running for these positions has a good understanding of what the role is and what the limitations of the representation are.
Thanks, Lonnie. So I think that is it. I hope to see you all at our
Pip, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There were a few questions posed in writing in the Q&A and answered, and I would just like to read them.
Okay.
To include them here, and then also give the opportunity for maybe people who hadn't responded or hadn't seen them to chime in. There was one question specifically to Ty asking what his master's is in, and he responded that it is public administration from Sonoma State University. And also there was a question asking to the applicants in general, do you speak Spanish? And we did have a yes, I speak Spanish from Ty and from Spencer, not fluently, although I'd love to use this as a reason to get my Spanish back. And I just want to make sure that if there's anybody else that wants to add any response to the do you speak Spanish question, to have an opportunity to chime in.
Yo hablo un poquito.
And was that Lonnie?
Yes. Sí.
Divinity, I see you have your hand raised.
Yo hablo español y mucho respect Latino personas. So I speak some Spanish. I took some in class. I'm not fluent, but I also speak some German. I lived there as a kid. So this is great.
Thank you. Anyone else want to answer?
This is Mark. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I would have to rely on the official translators because I wouldn't want to misinterpret or mistranslate anything. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, is that it, Debbie? In the
That is it in the online questions.
Okay, all right. So thank you, everyone. I'm hoping to see all of you at our meeting on October 12th. Our agenda will come out a few days before the meeting, so look for that. If the best way to keep in touch with the MAC and to find out where and when meetings are and what we're up to, there's two primary places. One on Facebook. Just type in Lower Russian River MAC into Facebook and follow us there. The other great way to do it is you get information about the MAC and other things going on in the 5th District is to go to Linda Hopkins' site on the county site and sign up for her newsletter. Agendas, timing, everything, you'll just get right into your inbox. So those are the two best ways to keep informed of what's going on with the MAC as a whole. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you on the 12th.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Do we need to do anything